Where would we be without the various products delivered by the men and women in the trucking industry? Healthy Conversations in Trucking podcast is a platform for professional long-haul truck drivers to share their journeys over the road, educating listeners about the trucking industry and lifestyle. Now, let's dive into the conversation on this brand new episode. Greetings, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this episode. I'm your host, Dr. Charlotte Huntley, and I'm joined today by my husband and co-host, Jonathan Huntley.
Good evening, Doc.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
Good to hear you. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Last time we talked, I was on the road.
I know. I know.
Got a lot of questions from that, don't you?
Yes, I do. So, in case you are keeping up with us in real time, the last episode, we had a conversation about familiar roadways, and he used this term throwing chains, which, I was stuck on that trying to figure out, why do you have to call it throwing chains? But in that conversation, he mentioned a phrase a few times that I was a little tired at the time of the recording, to be honest. So I thought about it, but I didn't think about it until we were finished and it went out and I was listening to the final episode and he kept talking about chicken coop. And I was thinking at first, honestly, what went through my mind was, I knew where you were, the part of the highway you were talking about. I'm thinking, there's no chicken coops on the side of the road. Like, what's he talking about, a chicken coop? I was literally thinking about chicken coops. So please explain to me, what the heck is a chicken coop?
Well, Dr. Huntley, a chicken coop, for people who are not familiar with the terms.
So your tone is the same as saying, bless your heart.
Yeah, sort of. Bless your heart.
But I cannot be the only one who's wondering what the heck a chicken coop is.
No, you're not, because I'm sure some of the new guys out here who haven't been with old-time drivers don't know what a chicken coop it is. So basically, when you're driving down the road, there's this thing called the DOT. And some people refer to them, no disrespect, but grease guards. I mean,
the Department of Transportation.
Right. Well, they have their own police department, and then all they do is guard grease. So,
what do you mean guard grease? Here we go again. What does that mean?
They work trucks. That's it. So, trucks have a lot of grease, so they guard grease. Anyways, so they live in these chicken coops alongside of the road. So,
would you please stop? I need you to explain. Okay, you all don't understand my frustration. He's the person that gives directions as if you've always been there. You know, where the old Kmart used to be. Like, if I knew that, I wouldn't be lost. You have to explain this in a way that makes sense. You're still not explaining what a chicken coop is. You're throwing out more questions like a grease guard and like now have this image that they actually live on the side of the highway and off these exits.
Well, most of them do live off the highway.
They don't live there. Come on.
The exits, like vultures, just ready to pounce down on trucks.
I have no problem with Department of Transportation.
I don't either, because I never have a problem with them, but they're out there.
Okay, so please explain in clear language. Okay, what is a chicken coop?
To drivers, a chicken coop is a weight house. It's a weight scale. You drive down the highway, you see these signs say weight stations open or closed. Those are not for cars. They're for commercial vehicles. And if they're open, this is one thing I could never understand. If they're open, it's a green light. But if they're closed, it's a red light. So it makes sense that if it's a red light and it says open, that means you got to stop and go inside. And if it's closed, it would be green, it says just drive on by. But that's just me. I may be alone.
Open, why would there be a red light?
If it's open, why would there be a red light?
Yeah.
It's a green light. But for everybody else, a green light means go, right? You don't stop at a green light. If you're stopping in a weight station, wouldn't it be red, open, stop? Instead of green, open, stop. It just might be me. I don't know, but it's always been a pet peeve of mine. But anyways, a chicken coop is a scale house on the highway. And, I guess the term, it goes back a very long way, and it has to do with the whole thought was you got these very large trucks. And back in the days, these weight stations were very, very small. And getting these very large trucks into these, weigh stations felt like, chickens being hauled into the room to get weighed. and then set off to their destiny. So chicken coops came up.
That's where it came from.
Yeah. And then if you got a guy with a lot of chicken lights on his truck, he goes in the chicken coop.
Okay, so you're really frustrating me on purpose now. We're in the middle of this recording. I'm sure people feel this frustration that I have. Now, what the heck are chicken lights?
Chicken lights are just lights that people put on their trucks. You can see a truck riding down the road and might have 200 lights on it. And, your truck comes with marker lights on the trailer, one in the front, one in the middle, and one in the rear. But some guys have them every 6 inches all alongside the trailer, up the trailer. People are really known for this are the bull haulers.
What?
The bull haulers, moose, cows. Their trucks are usually all lit up. Some auto haulers, some of I know a lot of the fine line transportation trucks have a lot of lights on their trucks, and Reliable have a lot of lights on their trucks, but they have super cabs, and that looks really good.
So a trailer with a lot of lights, that's called chicken lights.
Chicken lights, a lot of lights, extra lights on the trailer and truck.
That makes no
Those
sense
are considered
to me.
chicken lights.
What does that have to do with the chicken?
Because we got to go to the chicken coop to get weighed.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So I'm never going to say that. So grease guard is what you're referring to. Is that a common term too?
I don't know if it's common. It's common to me because I have a lot of terms for a lot of them. The highway patrols.
So just you and your little friends, your circle of friends, use those terms?
Yeah.
We're not going to use that.
I use it. Well, and again, no disrespect. With all due respect,
That is.
It's in the Geneva Convention, so I think I can get away with it.
Okay, you know what? I really am beyond frustrated, but I'm going to leave this alone because I don't want to re-record it and I don't want to try to edit.
Whenever you can throw a Ricky Bobby in,
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Department of Transportation weight station, commonly referred to as chicken coop.
Yes.
You were able to give some sort of an explanation that sort of made a little bit of sense. I'm just going to completely forget about the chicken lights because I didn't like that, and that didn't really help me much. I don't know about you all listening,
but to some people they spend an awful lot of money, thousands of dollars on lights on their trucks and trailers.
I'm sure they don't appreciate people calling them chicken lights.
They're all called chicken lights.
Why not just lights?
Because the truck and trailer come with lights. If you add on to it, well,
that'd be chicken light. It can be extra lights.
Because it's a driver term. It's an industry term.
I don't know. Well, I guess you've answered my question. I'm going to let it go. You're laughing at me. I'm seriously annoyed.
I know. And I love it.
I don't know if you have been listening to us long enough to understand the level of frustration that you may hear is real. But he did answer the question I had about chicken coop. That bothered me. I was a little agitated, I think, afterwards when it hit me. And the episode went live. I thought, well, why didn't I think to ask that while we were recording? Because I'm sure somebody else wanted to know. So we're making sure this one comes right after. So the very last episode before this one, in case you're wondering, what the heck are they talking about? Just go back and listen to episode 31. And it's called Familiar Roadways and Throwing Chains, so that you can hear what I mean. You'll hear that conversation where he mentioned chicken coop a few times. But now we know what he's referring to and a little bit of why. I'm going to leave it right there.
Is there any question? Any other questions?
I have questions, but they seem to get me in more trouble, so I'm going to just stop.
No, there's no trouble at all.
I feel like I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. Right now, you answered my question for now. And, but I reserve the right to come back in a future episode with more questions.
Would you like me to tell a joke?
No. The only person that liked your joke was my sister.
Hey,
again,
and she is not a driver, so it must have been good.
Again, I don't remember what episode that was.
It was our 30th one.
Okay.
Because I had a knock-knock joke and you shut me down.
Okay, well, yeah, that was it. So my sister called me the day after that aired to let me know, oh my gosh. Well, actually, she thought John was awesome. She took his side.
I don't see why she wouldn't.
Anyway, thank you all for listening. Maybe somebody out there can understand my frustration. I'm going to just take a few deep breaths, but at least we now have a little bit of light shed on the whole chicken coop thing.
It's good to see you, Doc.
It's good to see you too. Thank you for listening to the Healthy Conversations in Trucking podcast. Learn more or be a guest on a future episode by visiting healthyconversationsinTrucking.com or simply HCITpodcast.com.